The United States and Ukraine have found themselves bound by circumstance in recent years. Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022 forged a new urgency in the relationship. The U.S. emerged as a critical ally, providing military aid and intelligence to bolster Ukraine's defense. Recently, the U.S. decided to temporarily halt the sharing of critical military intelligence with Ukraine. This pause, which began in early March 2025, signifies a potential turning point in the conflict. It raises serious concerns about the future of Ukraine's resistance against Russian aggression. Some argue it undermines Ukraine's defense, while others see it as a step towards negotiation. The stakes are incredibly high, and the repercussions of this decision are likely to be felt for years to come. The recent pause in intelligence sharing has cast a shadow of doubt on the steadfastness of U.S. support. U.S. intelligence has been the invisible backbone of Ukraine's defense since the war began. American satellites, surveillance aircraft, and signals intelligence provided real-time data on Russian troop movements. This information allowed Ukrainian forces to anticipate Russian attacks and launch targeted counteroffensives. American analysts worked closely with their Ukrainian counterparts to interpret the information and develop effective strategies. The U.S. also provided crucial support in countering Russian electronic warfare and disinformation campaigns. U.S.-supplied weapon systems like HIMARS and ATACMS missiles relied heavily on accurate targeting data provided by U.S. intelligence. The effectiveness of these strikes disrupted Russian logistics and significantly slowed its advance. U.S. intelligence played a vital role in bolstering Ukraine's air defenses, allowing them to activate their systems and minimize the impact of Russian air raids. The halt in U.S. intelligence sharing has plunged Ukraine's military operations into a state of uncertainty. The once clear picture of the battlefield has become obscured, forcing Ukrainian commanders to rely on their own, more limited, intelligence-gathering capabilities. This loss of access to real-time high-grade intelligence has had immediate and far-reaching consequences for Ukraine's defense. Without precise targeting data, Ukrainian forces have been unable to effectively utilize their HIMARS and ATACMS missiles. This has allowed Russian forces to regroup and reinforce their positions. The lack of U.S. intelligence has also hampered Ukraine's ability to conduct effective reconnaissance and surveillance operations. With limited satellite imagery and signals intelligence, Ukrainian forces are now largely blind to Russian movements beyond the immediate front lines. The impact on Ukraine's air defenses has been equally concerning, making them more vulnerable to Russian airstrikes. The intelligence blackout has also affected the effectiveness of Ukraine's drone warfare capabilities. Ukrainian drone operators are now struggling to operate without U.S. targeting data, making them more susceptible to Russian air defenses. The decision to halt intelligence sharing did not occur in a vacuum. It is linked to the complex political landscape in Washington and the evolving geopolitical dynamics surrounding the war in Ukraine. Central to this decision is the role of former President Donald Trump, who has re-emerged as a powerful voice in American politics. Trump has been a vocal critic of continued American support for Ukraine, arguing that the U.S. should focus on its own problems. This sentiment, coupled with growing concerns about the economic fallout of the war, has created a political climate in which reducing U.S. involvement in Ukraine has become an attractive option for some policymakers. The decision to pause intelligence sharing can be seen as an attempt to appease this domestic pressure, while also sending a signal to Moscow. Critics argue that halting intelligence sharing is a dangerous gamble that could backfire spectacularly. They contend that it weakens Ukraine's negotiating position and emboldens Russia to escalate its aggression. By appearing to abandon a key ally at a critical juncture, the U.S. risks signaling to other adversaries that it is an unreliable partner. This could potentially embolden them to act more aggressively in their own regions. As we look to the future, the path forward remains fraught with uncertainty. The decision to halt intelligence sharing with Ukraine is just one piece of a larger puzzle, reflecting the broader challenges and complexities of international diplomacy and domestic politics. How the United States navigates these turbulent waters will have profound implications for the outcome of the conflict in Ukraine and its role on the global stage.